All right. So, as you said, we are doing the blue paint with none other than our own Mike McKenna. The blue paint is delivered by DoorDash. And, Mike, we're going to throw some rapid fire questions at you on the goalie market. And let's start with one of the greatest goalies that's ever played the game, in my opinion, the Flower, Marc-Andre Fleury. Where do you see him ending up?
I think there's a pretty decent mark out there, or a mark. There's a market out there for Marc-Andre Fleury, and I think it starts in Minnesota because Bill Guerin would like to retain Marc-Andre Fleury if possible. He's on record saying that, and he did work in tandem with Cam Talbot nicely last year. Now, there's teams out there who are probably going to need Fleury more than the Minnesota Wild, in my eyes, and I think you can't help but look anywhere like Toronto or even Colorado if Darcy Kuemper walks. Marc-Andre is not going to make $7 million dollars like he did the last several seasons. He is turning 38, but you've got Craig Anderson over 40 who just signed another deal. Mike Smith played at past the age of 40. I don't think age is going to be a restricting factor here. I think for Fleury, he's going to get to make his call. Does Toronto want him on a 1 year deal? Does Colorado want him on a 1 year deal? I think either of those could work. And I think you can't count out Pittsburgh. And I know Tristan Jarry had a really good first half and most of the season, but you could see that the Pittsburgh Penguins could use some depth there. Would that work? Would Flower come home? I'm intrigued to see. But if I had to bet on it, I think that you've got Toronto, Colorado, Minnesota, Pittsburgh. It's kind of even here, Chris. It's hard to handicap the field on Fleury.
All right. I like it. I'm going to get my popcorn ready for that one. Moving on, you mentioned Kemper, obviously
Hmm.
Stanley Cup champion now. Wasn't awesome in the playoffs, but he did get the job done. Does Colorado hang on to him? Do they go with Fleury? And if they do something different, where does Mr. Kemper end up?
I think Kemper holds a lot of cards here as well because Flurry, Kemper, you're probably your top free agents that are available in the UFA market if that's the route you choose to take. And he's 32 years old. He made $4.5 million the last several years, and he's due a raise on that. You look at the rate for a Stanley Cup winning goaltender. Jordan Binnington's making $6 million in St. Louis. If you're Darcy Kemper, you're looking at that deal and going, "Yeah, I want my 4 or 5 years at least 5.5, $6 million, I think, if not a little more than that. And that might price him out of Colorado. Colorado does have Justus Annunen coming along, a goaltender that they believe in, but he probably needs another year in the American League. So Pavel Francouz has 2 more years. Do the Avalanche retain Kemper? You're going to take 4 or 5 years, I think, on a contract to do it, I would guess. And it's going to take decent money unless Kemper just loved it there. Would he take a 4 year deal at $5 million? I actually think it's feasible. I think Kemper could return to Colorado, but if he doesn't, boy, take a look around the league. You got New Jersey, who wants a goalie desperately. You've got Toronto, who would really have to move things around. I'd be a bit surprised with them given the term that Kemper would really be looking for. I don't think they're a great fit, but Edmonton, there's another team that could really use somebody with some stability and a little bit of pedigree there. So I'm thinking Kemper stays in Colorado, but that's just a pure guess because there will be suitors and there will be suitors with money waiting for him at the finish line.
Nice. Okay, two more guys for you. One was a guy that was potentially could have been a starter anywhere around the league if he'd been given the opportunity and playing in your home city. And the other one is a guy that was a starter and was questioned as whether he should be. So I'm talking about Ville Husso and Jack Campbell. Thoughts on those two guys?
Okay, so Ville Husso is 27 years old. He's an unrestricted free agent, and he's played 64 games in the NHL. How many of those types of goaltenders exist? They just don't. And he's only played 64 regular season NHL games. He didn't have a great playoff this year, but I think in the regular season he really showed that he can carry the mail at the NHL level. So there's a bit of risk if you're looking to sign Husso, but if you're a team like Edmonton, that's got a little bit of runway here. They're going to be good for a while. Do you take a slight gamble on a guy like Husso, who you think could really become a true number one in the league? He carried St. Louis for a long portion of this year, 919 save percentage. So I think Edmonton's a team that would love to have Husso at his age, at his cap hit. He's probably going to come in, I don't know, probably between $3 and $4 million. I would expect to happen for him, and that's probably priced him out of St. Louis. So Edmonton to me is a team that Husso would love. I'm sure even Washington would like to get into the mix if they could move a goaltender for Husso. New Jersey, we keep mentioning New Jersey. They seem to hold the keys to the goaltending category in some ways. And you look at Campbell; he's been tied to potentially New Jersey as a team that likes him, and I could see that. the tough part I see for Campbell is that, boy, do you want to win hockey games, And that's where it might be tough because I'm not sure Colorado would go for Campbell. I don't know about Edmonton. I could see New Jersey. I could see Chicago. I could see some of these lesser teams giving Campbell the payday that he wants. But if he wants to go to a club that's a contender and it's going to win, Chris, I'm a bit nervous for Campbell. So I think he's going to have to make a decision here on one, what's available, and two, what may be the right fit for him. So lots of interesting things coming in the goalie market. We still have trades that could happen as well. So a lot remains to be seen, Chris. And this has been the latest edition of the Blue Paint delivered by DoorDash. And you can see the promo codes right at the bottom of the screen here. DFODD in Canada, DFODD US. That's going to get you 25% off your first order and fleet free delivery. All your favorites and more delivered right to your door. You just had a big July 4th weekend, Canada Day weekend. Order dinner tonight. Make it easy on yourself. It's been the Blue Paint presented by DoorDash.